recording.
Ikaw mag-introduction, di ba?
Yeah, ako mag-introduction.
Okay.
So, yun po, ano. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of Surrender at 15, podcast about League of Legends and Esports. I'm joined today by Hype Paradox. Nandito siya, yun. He will
Hello,
be
guys.
my co-host for today for this podcast. So, very first episode natin ngayon. Really nice. So,
Yeah, it's
this,
an honor to have a podcast with you, especially coming from our cast from Kadsa, no?
yeah. For those na hindi nakakaalam, for those who don't know, actually, we casted tournament. Kadsa, go check them out. Nandun pa din yung mga VODs if you want to see the games. And, yeah. Nag-propose ako sa kanya na we do the podcast. Actually, matagal na tong podcast na to. Sadyang wala lang akong co-host. Tinatatawag ko na lahat, hey, can you be my co-host? And then, I found a perfect co-host na guy Paradox.
Finally, a fellow savant.
A fellow savant of the LS streams. And, yeah. Tell us what you do in life, Paradox.
Basically, I am an amateur shoutcaster for League of Legends right now. So basically, I'm a student from De La Salle Araneta University. And yeah, I'm a very much follower of esports, especially League of Legends. That's why I'm here, in the podcast that you have made. And
Yeah.
so far things have been good, kahit na even though there's COVID, especially we're gonna have another quarantine again, and yeah, we're basically doing fine.
Right. So, on top of that, besides the fact na announce na ng ECQ once again all over NCR.
NCR Plus.
NCR Plus. Disney, parang Disney Plus siya. Disney Plus. If there's Disney Plus, there's NCR Plus. So, anyways, so madaming regions na natapos na yung Spring Split, right? Spring Split.
Yeah, Spring Split
including,
of 2020.
actually hindi pa tapos eh. Magpe-playoffs pa lang. But, essentially tapos na yung season. Natapos
the regular
na
season, nagsa-start na tayo ngayon ng playoffs.
Yeah, ng playoffs. So, regular season is done, playoffs is starting. So, tapos na yung LCS. Actually, Cloud9 actually already won. So, LCS is done. As well as LEC and as well as LCK. So, hindi, LCK patapos pa lang sila. Technically.
LEC is not regular season. Right?
Regular season
So, yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
So. And of course, our very home region, PCS. So,
It's also in its playoffs
still
stint
on
na.
its playoff stage. Actually, si Paradox actually, pinag-usapan namin to kanina. He actually doesn't really hindi niya masyadong fina-follow yung PCS. So, I'm that one guy in the Philippines that actually still watches PCS. So, that's the big problem. So,
well, I'm gonna admit it's hindi ako nakakapanood ng PCS because of syempre school works, and of course we're gonna talk about it later, but yeah.
Yeah,
PCS.
PCS. So, again, by the way, where was I? PCS ended, tapos na, magpa-playoffs na sila. We're gonna talk about the other team later, but I'm gonna talk about the playoff pictures. So, I'm gonna transition
Let
it
me
here.
check on that one as
So,
well.
here's the full picture. So, actually, top 1 ngayon is PSG Talon. And really expected that already. Buong split talaga. Sobrang ganda nila. Prediction ko nga, Machi Esports. Pero, nagulat ako sa performance ng PSG Talon as well si Kaiwing. Kaiwing Unified. Everybody else, magaling sila. As a whole, that's how a team should be in the first place. And second place will be Beyond Gaming with 16 and 2 losses, no? Just behind one game sa Beyond Game. Behind sa PSG Talon, Machi Esports in third place. Basically, yung pasok lang talaga is PSG until Beraya Dragons. I think so. Or Impunity. I think Impunity yata.
No, it's until Hong Kong Attitude.
Hong Kong Attitude. So, top 8. So, top 8 ng...
So, Alpha Esports and Liyab Esports are already out of the playoff picture.
Alright. So, here's the playoff picture so far. Wait, naayos ko pa yung... So, ito na yung playoffs picture. Hindi mo makita kasi naka-stream. Anyways. So,
Yeah, I'm looking at it on the website.
on
So
the website.
fine,
Okay,
you can
nice.
continue.
So, JT versus BME. Boom Esports. I think JT is gonna win that. No problem. Hopefully,
Yeah, sir.
JT.
I think JT is gonna win that, but probably Boom Esports is gonna take at least one game. But coming from a loss from Liyab, I
Yeah,
think
I think.
JT might probably win this one,
Yeah, performance-wise. Okay.
especially
Yeah.
their performance has been on the up, as I can see from the standings here. They have a 3-win streak from PCS, so I think they're gonna win that.
Yeah. Ano sila, may buwelo sila. They have.
And Boom Esports coming in from a 5 losing streak.
So, that's gonna be very bad sa Boom Esports. Kasi wala sila, they don't have the kind of inertia, di ko alam, physics. Wala silang,
they
well,
don't have the momentum.
yeah,
coming
they
in
don't have
for
the
playoffs,
momentum.
but let's see. Probably they'll be better in best of 5s or best of 3s. I think it's gonna be a best of 5.
I think it's gonna be best of 3. I think best of 3.
3.
Yeah. Ayan, BO3, BO3.
Let's see what can Boom Esports do in a best of 3 instead of a best of 1.
So, yung next match is gonna be Machi versus Impunity. No-brainer, Machi is gonna mananalo Machi.
Yeah, I think Machi, syempre, there are the second representatives coming in from Worlds last year.
Yeah,
So
last year.
I'm kinda expecting them to win, but again, this is the PCS. We can't
We don't know.
No.
Actually, Impunity is a very good team din. Puro sila rookies, but they're actually really doing good. If
And yeah, I
pinapanood
was
nyo.
looking onto their roster. Caspiel is there, so I know that player. He's a very good jungler coming in from, I think, Thailand or Malaysia rather. So that's gonna be a good team in my opinion.
Right. So sa losers bracket, we have the bottom 2 teams, which is Hong Kong Altitude at Birai Dragons, and they're gonna be fighting against the losers sa first bracket, which is either gonna be J Team, Boom Esports for Birai Dragons, or Machi Esports or Impunity for Hong Kong Attitude. So ito yung mahirap. Hong Kong Attitude has been a very, very fluctuating yung team nila this season. Good drafts, mediocre execution. Pero most of the time, good drafts. And hindi lang nila napupull off minsan. Siguro unlucky. Biraya Dragons, yeah, sila yung natalo ng Liyab. So I have very...
Aya pala ang natalo ng Liyab.
Yeah, so I have low hopes for them.
I thought it was Boom Esports yung natalo ng Liyab.
Biraya Dragon. So, I think Hong Kong Attitude may chance sila na lumusot sa losers bracket, but Biraya Dragons, I think it's gonna be very hard for them. So, yan. So, yung next bracket is PSG.
I'm looking onto the roster of Hong Kong Attitude. I actually noticed that Kong Yue is on the Hong Kong Attitude. I didn't expect them to be on the 8th place. I think they should have been on the 6th or 7th, but
yeah.
I haven't watched PCS, but coming in from the world's performance that Kong Yue did, this is very surprising. But yeah, I think they might face Boom Esports, and let's see what will happen there. They might probably turn their luck around onto that losers bracket.
I think dito sa losers bracket they can shine. I think so. Hopefully. So, ayun na, next bracket is gonna be PSG and Beyond Gaming. Yung pinaka roadblock ng ng PCS talaga is yung PSG. No brainer. If I'm 100% sure, I'm betting all of my odds here. PSG will advance hanggang sa finals talaga. I really want them to represent PCS. Sila talaga yung pinaka-decenteng team na pwede sila makarepresent sa MSI. Yeah, actually, whoever wins this represents PCS in MSI as a major region pa, no?
And one thing to point out as well, my predictions top 3 for PCS earlier in the year was actually PSG, Machi, and J Team.
Oh
But
yeah, JT.
Beyond Gaming was a very new team coming in
Yeah,
to PCS. So this was a surprise for me,
yeah.
especially in the I
Surprise
don't
din na,
really watch
lalo na
PCS
sa
that
record
much.
nila. Like,
Yeah, they're almost as good as PSG,
just one game
and
behind.
they're better in Machi. So let's see. Probably we're gonna see another PSG Machi, but there's gonna be a challenge coming in for PSG here. So this
Alright.
might not be as easy as last year, but let's see.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
see.
predictions for top 3. First place, second place, and third place.
I think PSG will still win the PCS playoffs. They will probably represent
Mm,
PCS on the
MSI.
MSI 2021.
Yeah.
So, especially they have a lot of backing from PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. So, I think
Big sponsor.
especially in the
Very
COVID
big
year,
sponsor.
yeah, it's a very big sponsor. So, they're going to be having a lot of support coming in from that sponsor. So, I think it's not going to be a problem for them. Although Machi and Beyond Gaming can probably challenge them, it's going to be a good finals compared to the last finals that we have seen
Yeah.
last year from other PCS teams such as Machi. But yeah, this is gonna be an exciting PCS finals,
Yeah.
and especially playoffs.
So, yeah. Actually, yung makakapag ano talaga nito, the tides will turn dahil sa losers bracket. I think, PSG is gonna win. No doubt. Pero yung question is, sino yung second place? Because if Beyond Gaming loses, they still have a chance to fight against maybe Machi, maybe Hong Kong Attitude. Malay mo, nag-miracle run bigla yung Hong Kong Attitude, no? Like,
Yeah,
Shalkov. Malay mo, because they still have a decent team. Or impunity with the rookies, malay mo. If they lose the
and
game versus PSG in the semifinals, they can still have a very, very hard time. But let's see. Let's see what
and
happens.
yeah, that is actually what's good on a losers bracket instead of a
Hmm.
single elimination bracket. There's chances for top teams and even bottom teams to redeem themselves on the
Yeah.
lower bracket standings, and hopefully we can see something of a bracket like this on MSI, but I don't think Riot will implement that
I don't think. Kasi ano
where
lang eh. Ilang regions ba? There's the PCS, mga major regions, PCS, LCK,
PCS, LCK,
LPL,
LPL, LEC,
LEC, LCS.
LCS, and
May isa pa ba?
probably they're gonna be doing a play-ins with
For the wild cards.
um for the wildcard region such as I
Oceano.
think OPL
Yeah,
is
OPL.
OPL still gonna be represented.
Are they
Um,
OPL? Iba nata yung
yeah, I
LCO?
think they
OCL?
renamed.
OCL?
I think they renamed. Yeah, I think it was already renamed into a challenge league. The same thing that was LST, similar to name
Yeah, yeah.
to that. I think, but
So,
I'm not
wild
sure on that.
cards,
So probably it's
VC,
gonna be Turkey,
Turkey,
uh,
Vietnam, VCS,
LLA.
LCL,
Yeah,
and
so
basically 7 ata yung wildcard creatures. 7 or 8
basically, we don't think that they're gonna do a losers bracket,
yeah, I think
but
kasi 6
they're
teams lang eh.
they're probably gonna do the same format as last year
Yeah.
from Worlds.
Na,
So
yeah, last year Worlds. Sasabihin ko sa last year, there was no
especially
MSI.
we're gonna have MSI after 1 year, I
One
think,
year, yeah.
of not having MSI. So
Last year we didn't
let's see
have
what
MSI.
changes Riot will bring into the
Yeah.
format.
Alright, so for each region, let's talk about the representatives. Okay, let's talk
Yeah, MSI
about
representatives.
LCS first, syempre.
Okay.
North America.
Let's go for the NA region.
Alright, let's talk about who's
LCS.
gonna be representing LCS. Para sa'yo, who will represent LCS this MSI?
I'm actually gonna have to go with. I think it's gonna be C9. It's gonna be C9
Cloud9, most
since
likely.
the perks free agency fiasco was a very good pickup for Cloud9. Although TSM and TL can probably still challenge C9. the best representatives that NA could probably get is TSM, or rather C9.
C9.
And it's gonna be TSM or TL, either of the two.
Actually, the funny part, alam mo yung meme na nagsa-circulate ngayon?
Ano yun?
LEC1 LCS. Kasi puro
Why?
puro European
Oh,
sila sa C9.
kasi puro EU import.
EU import.
Oh, yeah.
LEC1
Ben.
LCS.
Oh, no.
It was such a fun. I love that meme so much. Hindi ko lang mahanap. Baka ilagay ko sa
nga,
video.
no? Vulcan, Sven, Perks.
Yeah, everybody is from
Basically,
Europe.
the EU
super team.
representatives.
Alright, so we're done with LCS. I think C9 din. Para sa akin, C9 talaga. They're the most decent so far. TSM, no, nah.
It depends on TSM if they are gonna be better on the
Yeah.
playoff brackets. I mean, they can still win, but they're gonna face TL or 100 Thieves before they face C9. So, they lost 3-1 here on the winners bracket against TL. So,
And very late sila very late yung
No.
shine ng TSM.
medyo, I think they will shine in summer, where
Summer, yeah.
probably the Bjergsen coach buffs will
Yeah.
kick in.
Kasi
Kung saan,
they
also
already
the
showed
double
us a
lift
little
buffs. Kumbaga parang
Lift,
MSI doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Spring split doesn't matter.
Spring
But,
man.
yeah. But,
Alright.
yeah, I still think it's gonna be C9.
E9
There's a
for
really big gap for 1, 2, and 3.
Alright. So, LEC, tinatanong pa ba yan? G2 na. It's G2 for LEC.
Yeah, it's gonna be G2.
There's, without a doubt.
There's no question. It's
No
gonna
question.
be G2.
No question.
And it's
Reckless
actually
Cups.
good to see G2 try to defend their title on MSI after 1 year, no, facing TL. Also, a good pick on NA would be TL. So, to resume the storyline. But I think, again, it's gonna be C9. And balik tayo dito sa LEC. I think it's gonna be G2, especially with the reckless move. So,
Yeah,
sobrang, I think
the
this will
huge
this
move.
ha, this roster or this iteration of G2 has been the greatest European team since, or probably the euphoria of EU since 2015 Worlds. So,
Yeah. Actually,
I'm gonna be expecting that G2 will probably go into the finals or even win. That's gonna be their expectation, to win MSI.
Yeah.
And
Not MSI lang, kahit Worlds. They're
they're in contention, but may storyline kasi akong sasabihin after nito. I think G2 right now is the best team in the world. But that will change in summer. Kasi technically the team still don't know what the meta is. They really don't know how to draft so far. They really don't know what style to play. And G2 knows what they want and what they want to play. What style of League of Legends they want to play. And in a in a state where almost all of the regions don't know what to play except for probably Damwon kasi nandun si Koma. And nandun din yung ibang great coaches, and of course they're the defending world champions.
Yeah.
I think G2 has been on a good stance lately, especially napaganda na standing nila.
Yeah.
And the only challenge probably for G2 is their rivals, Damwon, from Worlds last year, or Worlds even last year. Previously, yun lang naman talaga nagiging problema ng G2 which is Korean teams.
Yeah, Korean teams. Yung kryptonite na. Pero yung maganda i-note din is yung advantage kasi ng Worlds last year is walang MSI. Yun yung advantage ng ibang teams. That's why they shine. Kasi usually MSI dun mo palang makikita na yung potential ng teams eh. Dun mo na makikita yung mga threat for Worlds. So yun. Pero last year kasi wala. So nobody knew who was gonna be top tier. Baka nga Fnatic, baka G2 last year, or Damwon, it was still a surprise. Pero this year may MSI now, so we might already see some contenders para sa Worlds. So yeah. And G2 is gonna defend their championship. So alright. So nawala audio mo. What? Yeah, nawala audio.
Here's my question for you. Sorry, I think I was
yeah.
muted. Um, who do you think is gonna be the second finalist for LEC? Is it gonna be Fnatic, Rogue, or Mad?
I think story-wise, I want Fnatic. Story-wise, I want Fnatic para Fnatic G2. But statistically, I think it's gonna be Rogue talaga. Either Rogue or Fnatic. Yeah. I think
Okay.
I'm gonna go with
Especially
Fnatic.
Rogue, coming from the bottom, now we here.
Yeah.
Last year, yung Mad Lions yung ano eh. Yung technically the rookies or the new
yeah.
kids on the
Sad
block.
Lion.
But ngayon medyo sad Lions sila.
Sad Lion.
Now, the question here is, what if Schalke defeats G2?
Miracle Run? Are we
Yeah.
looking for a miracle one?
God
Run
Gilius?
Oh? And we see the miracle
but
run.
again, yun nga tulad nga ng sinabi natin, we're expecting G2 to win. But,
Yeah. Kasi
yeah.
this iteration
I honestly wish a Fnatic G2.
yeah,
Although Fnatic looks a little bit wonky
yeah.
with their style.
The revenge story of Fnatic. Yeah.
At saka gusto ko rin marinig yung ano, Reckless with my heart sa finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool. Holy shit. Tsaka live.
Imbis na Silver Scripts, no?
Oo. Tapos nandun pa sila sa nandun na sila sa mismong arena. Holy shit. That will be huge.
Yeah, especially they're doing on-site tournaments right now, or games rather.
That would be cool.
On the LEC studio.
Face-to-face lang G2. Reckless facing Fnatic.
And imagine if Fnatic wins, that's gonna be
Oh
the
my
storyline.
The storyline.
But if Fnatic wins, si Damon's gonna win
Damon's gonna win.
Damon's gonna win MSI. So, yeah. LEC holds the, let's say, the storyline for Worlds and
MSI.
and MSI this year.
Yeah. They're the current defending champions ng MSI. So we're gonna expect a lot from them. And actually, kung tuusin, walang nagbago sa team nila except sa kay Perks being replaced by yun lang ata yung kaisa-isang change nila since 2019, I think.
Especially Perks is the heart of G2, so
yeah, it's sad.
We were expecting that Perks would probably go for Fnatic since Fnatic is wanting a mid laner. Especially Nemesis was the problem for them. Now, unfortunately, Ocelot didn't want that to happen. Of course, rival nga. So, yeah, he went to C9 and the rest is history.
Actually, isingit ko na nga lang. I think it wasn't the fact na kasi si Nemesis yung playstyle niya kasi hindi lang siya nag-fit sa Fnatic. But analysis-wise, yun nga lang pride siya. For example, nung 2018, nung nag-champion yung, 2019, nung nag-champion yung FPX, sinabi niya, di ba, si Doenby yung pinaka-worst na mid laner ng Worlds at the time. But without merit yun, tama siya. At in a sense na yung playstyle ni Doenby very different from the current playstyle. Kasi si Doenby nung 2019, mga pick niya, Nautilus mid, Galio tank mid, Karma mid. Yun yung mga champs na hindi kailangan ng masyadong hindi carries kumbaga yung champ. Yeah, kasi yung utility yung hinahabol ni Doenby. So more on his team yung habol niya. And I think yan yung rason kung bakit si Nemesis hindi siya nag-fit sa Fnatic at that time. Kasi yun nga, ma-pride siya and he doesn't want to do the helping the team champions. Kasi just like na point out ni LS, there was one time na naggalyo si Nemesis and sinabi niya he's doing what he hates the most, which is nagro-roam siya instead magstay sa lane and mag-CS. So I think that's the reason why hindi masyado nag-work si Nemesis sa Fnatic due to conflicts of his champion pool. So I think that's why hindi nag-click masyado. So I'm not blaming Nemesis, but he's good. He's very good player, pero yung playstyle niya lang kasi is very different from other people.
And yeah, that was I was gonna say as well. Nemesis, in a way, is a good mid laner. But in my opinion, he doesn't have the champion pool to compete with Caps. Kasi
Caps literally
last
plays
time that
everything.
Fnatic and G2 played, Fnatic got outdrafted in mid because G2 knows what they're gonna pick. Halimbawa, Lucian mid. And let's say Oriana, Galio. That's gonna be the only mid laners that Fnatic's gonna pick. So G2 is gonna draft around that and probably destroy Nemesis in the mid lane. That's why, in my opinion, that in that time, Nemesis was the problem. But now they replaced him with Niski, and Reckless didn't want that to happen. So, and let's admit it, Reckless is already, medyo matanda na siya. He's gonna be a little bit old in a few years. So he's probably considering retiring in a few, or retirement in a few years time. So he really wants a championship team, and he really wants to win worlds. And unfortunately, it's just not Fnatic. It hasn't worked out for years.
Yeah.
Even though he's the heart of the team.
Yeah. That's just sad at this point. Yun nga.
And yun nga, sinabi na rin ni Reckless na he wasn't the carry or the leader type of player that Fnatic wants. So,
pinaportray kasi siya masyado.
they're forcing him to be the leader when he can't be the leader. And imbis na makatulong sa Fnatic, it's gonna be bad for them. So, that's why he left. That's why he also thought na it's a win-win for both of the teams instead of a win-lose. But yeah, we will see that on the LEC finals. No?
That was a long
Playoffs.
discussion of LEC. LEC is the most so far, LEC is the most interesting region so far. Kasi sa LCK, you already see the Damwon dynasty being developed, no? They're becoming a dynasty. Parang SKT nung nanalo nila yung second worlds nila. Doon sila naging dynasty. And I think that's happening with Damwon as well. Pero sa LEC kasi, yung storyline kasi na si Reckless, who was the heart of Fnatic, lumipat bigla sa G2 to win an actual championship. So, that's why it's interesting.
Yun na nga. Bale, LEC is now trying to challenge Korea and even China with their teams. China. But, yeah, let's transition into Korea naman ngayon. No?
Alright.
So what are your thoughts
into...
Gusto
Korea muna or LPL? I think we should...
Sige, LPL muna.
LPL muna tayo. Alright.
This is interesting as well, in my opinion.
Yeah. Actually, very, very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Because this was the year that Uzi retired, di ba? This was the year. Tama?
Yeah.
2021.
Last year was the year that Uzi retired, technically.
Technically, pero yun, nag-play pa siya nun. Parang last niya na year as professional.
He was still affiliated with RNG.
Yeah.
Halimbawa, he's helping with coaching the bot laners, helping with a lot of things. But I think he eventually left RNG for IG. I'm not sure on that. Pero yun yung huli kong narinig from Uzi. He's still playing on the ranked servers, and basically he's recovering from his injuries. LPL is not yet done. I think ito yung last
may regular
day.
Sila na lang yung
last day ng LPL nila. But di pa natin alam yung 12 teams, but so far if we're gonna look into the katulad yan ng sinasabi ng iba, LPL, you should only consider the top 4 or even 5 teams, not to the top 12. So let's disregard almost everyone. So almost everyone from the bottom half. Yeah, so let's discuss LPL now.
Alright, so LPL. So, eto, tinitingnan ko siya sa LoL Esports right now, yung standings niya. So, surprisingly, RNG is top 1. That was one of the...
Yeah. That's the storyline. After
the legendary Uzi.
The retirement of Uzi, Royal Never Give Up is having a revival from... Kasi last year was probably one of the worst
years
RNG. For the... Not only RNG, but the old guards of China.
Yeah.
For example, Invictus Gaming,
yeah.
Team
Edward
B,
Gaming. Edward Gaming as well.
Edward Gaming, EDG.
Yeah.
They had new guards such as Top Esports, Suning, JD Gaming. So this is the return of the old guards again, facing the new. Technically, hindi na sila old guards. The teams are old guards.
Pero new rosters.
The interesting point here is new rosters ang meron dito yung Royal Never Give Up. Yun na nga, Uzi retired. And they're having a change that can probably, kumbaga, ano sila ngayon eh. They're a dark horse coming into MSI. You don't really know what to expect again from LPL.
Kasi
Especially,
hindi pa siya tapos eh. And wala pang playoff picture.
And wala pang playoff picture. And of course, a lot of things also happened into the LPL region in terms of free agency, such as Suning, Sword Art left for TSM. So that basically removed the power of Suning. So from top 3 naging top 8 na lang sila ngayon. That are yun yung isa sa mga talking points that are that Sword Art was basically a traitor for the Chinese community.
Yeah.
Sabi nila dahil nga pumunta ng NA. But again, nakita naman natin TSM not really doing that good. I mean, considerably good compared dun sa kung anong nawala sa kanila last year. Bjergsen retired, Doublelift retired. Almost all of old TSM players retired or hindi na naglalaro on the main roster. But yeah, kumbaga LPL right now is having a new era of League of Legends. Probably if we are expecting Damwon to dominate the first 3 years of the next decade of League of Legends, I think the next years from that decade might probably be China.
China, again.
In my opinion.
Full circle lang siya. So,
and, yeah, ano pang thoughts mo?
Actually, Edward Gaming as well. Isa sa yun sa paborito kong teams when I started watching esports. Dahil kay Crown ata galing siya Edward Gaming, I think. And now Edward Gaming has
wait,
Viper.
let me check on that.
Check mo. I don't remember. I think it was Crown. Kasi katapat niya si Faker nung MSI. And that was the first loss of LeBlanc with Faker. Hindi ko malala if it's
I'm not sure on that. I think that was a different mid laner pero
yeah, I think so too. But yeah, Edward
but
Gaming.
let's still focus on the talking point na nandun na naman uli yung mga old guards with new rosters. And
Edward
Top
Gaming.
Esports medyo na ano sila ngayon eh, Top Esports.
Actually bumagsak sila to top 3. Actually same I think same
roster sila. But different coaching staff?
Different coaching staff, I think, as well. Yeah. Ang sad lang ng Fun Plus Phoenix. Actually, I want to talk about Fun Plus Phoenix first. Kasi, ang sad lang kasi nag-stop bigla si, mag-play yung jungler nila. Si Tian. May nag-replace sa kanya ata. For the meantime. That's why...
Tian, I think, had an injury. That's why...
Yeah.
He's being subbed right now.
Yeah.
So, again, katulad nga na sinabi natin, Fun Plus Phoenix are probably dark horses as well coming into the LPL playoffs. Hopefully, Tian will get better or hindi siya magkasakit ng mahaba.
I expected that Fun Plus would rank top 1 this season. Considering
especially with Xenogre.
One of the defending champions.
Trade, parang signing.
Signing. Trade din, in a sense, kasi Con went.
Kasi Con went Damwon.
Pero the fact is, kasi the first few games ng FPX was very decent. Like, very good. Like, nag-fit in agad
reminiscent nung 2018
2018, yeah. Yung run nila, championship run nila 2018. Yeah, very reminiscent. But yun nga, sadly, si Tian na injure. Kasi they were complementing each other in terms of gameplay wise. Nagko-complement yung playstyle ni Xenogre sa playstyle ni Tian with the Lee Sin, with the Nidalee, with the any aggressive. Kasi si Xenogre likes to play literally tank. Siya yung definition ng tank user talaga. He really loves those tank uses. Si Ornn, lalo na si Ornn, paborito niya talaga si Ornn. But, yeah, so it's sad na nawala si Tian. So, na-force sila mag-play differently. Si Do and B as well. I think nagbago playstyle niya. Pero, siya na lang yung kaisa-isang Rumble player sa buong, league. So, and, yeah, I think that's it. I think Fun Plus this playoffs, I think they're gonna be decent. This playoffs. But the
I
real
think they're gonna have a fight with at
Mm.
least kung sino man makakaharap nila.
um
But considering that RNG, as I think nakakita rin ako ng mga plays from highlights from RNG.
Mhm.
Sabi daw nila parang magaling ata si Gala.
yeah,
So,
they're
in player na yun, if I'm not mistaken, he's from RNG and
The
he's
ADC.
technically parang the new
The new Uzi.
of RNG. But let's see, probably Suning will have a miracle run or
Miracle
even
run
Invictus
again.
Gaming once the Shy probably steps up. He's having a little bit of a bad
I think, yeah, this is
streak
so
na ngayon.
far
Medyo
this is his
nahirapan siya
bad.
bumalik dun sa dati niyang form.
This is his bad worst season so far. Although he is
But
considered the best top laner. I
top
think.
laner.
But this is his worst season as a top laner.
But I think once Invictus Gaming sorts their problems, they can also be in the top 5 or even top 4 of I think in the first few games of LPL, they were placing with RNG, EDG, and we. So sila yung top 4. It's just that medyo nagkaroon lang ng losing streak, I think, yung Invictus. That's why they dropped down.
And there were rumors
But,
as well
yeah.
na si who was that player? Wait, let me check. I think it was Baolan. I think it was Baolan, or si
Mhm.
Rookie na parang nawawalan siya ng gana, I think. to
Yeah,
play.
I think it was Rookie.
Yeah.
He was a little bit getting... Hindi ko sure kung ano yung tamang description, but he was, I think,
the retirement
getting pissed.
vibes. Ganun,
Parang
retirement
ganun.
vibes.
Parang nagsasawa na siyang...
Yeah.
He's the one who's carrying the team or something
Yeah.
like
But
that.
I think
Or
at this
parang
point,
siya na lang yung
pwede na siya
second.
mag-retire. I mean, he's already a champion. So, I think...
Or
There-
he can go to Korea back
Or
again.
Korea, back to
So,
Korea. Malay mo. But,
try to contest against Showmaker, Faker, or even Chovy.
yeah. Speaking of Korea, Edward Gaming, my God, yung acquirement nila ni Viper was the main focal point on how they bounced back. Grabe. Because everybody was expecting na Viper would still stay in Hanwha Life, so para mag-reunite sila with Chovy. Wait, Chovy? Yeah, Chovy.
Yeah, Chovy.
Magre-reunite sila sana, Viper and Chovy, but yeah, he decided to go to Edward Gaming and they're playing decent. So, when we're talking in terms of who's the new Uzi, I think it's going to be either Viper or Gala
Gaala.
for the LPL. But, syempre, Uzi is still Uzi. The most kills in the world. Most kills in the world. Not only in the ADC world. Siya yung most kills sa League of Legends into professional play. So, yeah.
And again, nandun din sa usapan si Jackie Love.
Jackie
in
Love.
Liyab Esports. So, I think this might be the most stacked year of LPL,
LPL.
where there's a lot of good ADCs.
Yeah. Actually,
It would have been interesting to see how Uzi would do against all of these players. But then
Yeah.
again, it's better, I think, for RNG to give up Uzi
now that
for
you
newer
mentioned, no,
players.
I think LEC and si Reckless lang kasi talaga yung sa LEC. In short, siya yung pinaka-best na ADC. But yeah, ever since nawala si Uzi, I think Reckless is the best ADC currently in the world. Ever since nawala si Uzi. I think nung nandun pa si Uzi, siguro first, parang nagfo-fluctuate sila between first and second. Pero I think Uzi is...
Siguro kung if we're talking, I think if we are talking about being a whole package, such as Uzi, bringing in experience and lane dominance, I guess I agree with you on that one, that probably Reckless is considered as the greatest ADC right now. But He's having a lot of challenge coming in from LPL. LPL, ano naman given naman na yan eh. It
Yeah.
is given on LPL that they usually produce a lot of good ADCs, especially Wanfang,
Wang Fang.
yun nga, Jackie
Jackie
Love, Gala, Uzi.
Mhm.
There are a lot of good ADCs in LPL. Kumbaga, if there are a lot of good ADCs in LPL, there are also a lot of good mid laners in LCK. That's why we are seeing Rookie, we are seeing the likes of BDD, Chovy, Faker
Faker.
on LCK.
Closer.
So,
Kahit si Closer.
even closer, yeah. Even though he's being the second man or second mid laner of T1.
He's doing this.
Basically, their LPL is very stacked right now. And
Mhm.
people are sleeping on it. And nakakalimutan nilang LPL, even though there are a lot of new players, they should consider LPL being also one of the dark horses coming into MSI.
So, predictions. Who is going to win LPL and gonna be representing LPL? So,
My heart says RNG. My head says top esports.
top esports. Wow. Yeah, statistic-wise, currently dahil sa regular season.
Probably because of I want them to bounce back from the performance that they had in Worlds. They really choked a lot on Worlds.
Mhm.
I want to see Karsa doing well. I want to see him to defeat RNG, especially previous team niya yun. I want to see the likes of who's the mid laner from Top Esports again?
Knight.
Wait, let me-
Knight.
Knight to face the Showmaker. Last Worlds yun yung hinahype.
Yeah.
And
hinahype.
probably Caps. So let's see what can Top Esports do onto this playoffs. But my heart says RNG because I'm an RNG fanboy.
Yeah. Yeah. Dahil actually for me too, regular season, I think it's because top 1 RNG and yung performance na so far, I think they're gonna be the winners. Probably, pero my heart says Fun plus Phoenix. I think kasi since nawala si Tian, I think dun nagkaroon advantage yung other teams nila nung na-injure si Tian. But if Tian is gonna come back to the playoffs, I think they're gonna steamroll everything. I think so. So, I think Fun Plus will win, but it's gonna be probably RNG, most likely.
Spicy predictions coming in from the Surrender 15
Biased
podcast,
predictions, yeah.
no? Biased predictions. And now we're gonna go into the LCK
LCK
region.
It's not even a question at this point. Defending
Fresh
champ.
from the
20,
franchise era.
2021 World Champions. 2020 World Champions. I think it's no-brainer.
Don't jinx it. Don't
no,
jinx it.
no. I think Damwon Kia. They're gonna be representatives. There's without a doubt. They are going to do it. Unless.
Especially with the acquisition of Coma.
Coma as
and
well.
Dan.
The only coach that has 3 rings. 3 championships. Diba? I mean,
Ewan ko, sabi nila in overhype daw si Coma pero feel ko talaga siya lang naman kasi talaga yung
I think-
matinong coach.
okay, here's the problem. Sinasabi nila na overhyped si Coma because, yun nga, he has multiple championships because iniisip nila dahil sa
Of
players.
Faker.
Yeah, dahil kay Faker, he has
Because
championships.
of Marin, because of Bam.
Yeah, but if you think about it, hindi dahil sa mga drafts niya, since yung coach yung gumagawa ng draft, dahil sa kanya nagkaroon ng opportunities yung the likes of Faker to play the correct champions, setting up Bang with the team comp, and giving Marin the best top laners like Gangplank, Grumble at that time. Pero I think it's wrong to say that overhyped si Coma for those who say he is overhyped because he's literally one of the best na talaga na coaches of all time because of his Coma. So
And he also doesn't only bring the drafts. He also brings the father-like figure na
Mhm.
sinasabi nila from T1 before he went and went to China and went to team, I think that was
Vici?
Viper.
No,
Ay, Vici.
Vici.
So V. So I think um it's bad that T1 didn't even
Acquire.
contest for Coma, but I think Coma didn't want to have anything with T1 anymore since again he gave them 3 championships already.
Yeah,
And
I think it's okay.
again, Coma is riding or probably doing another
Championship run.
dynasty
Yeah, another
in the
dynasty.
making. So this is gonna be a very interesting storyline, especially they are going to be facing
Yeah, their
hopefully
former
T1.
coach. Yeah, T1 and
For
Damwon.
their former coach.
In
So,
short, they just traded coaches.
yeah, Zepha going to T1
Zepha to
as
going
well.
to T1. Yeah, and
I think Damwon's still gonna win LCK, but the only question here is would it be Genji? Would it be T1
T1 or Hanwha.
or Hanwha?
Okay,
I'm not sure on Hanwha because the Church
yung
of Chobi will
Chobi.
probably carry Hanwha life, but
1v5. Chovy
if
1v5.
you shut down Chovy kasi with the drafts, I think Hanwha life is beatable,
Yeah.
especially there's a lot of rookies coming
Yeah.
for HLE.
The very focal point lang talaga nung Hanwha is Chovy. The best mid laner currently in LCK.
And probably the world.
The world right now. So, mechanical wise. So,
I think Hanwha life can probably do a deeper run than T1, but I think it's gonna be Genji. And I think it's gonna be 3-0 Damwon
Okay.
against Genji.
here's my unbiased opinion. hindi to biased I think T1 can make it to the finals. They have been in this situation multiple times na. They have ran the gauntlet like 6 or 7 times already from fourth place. And they won, I think, 2 times. Ata, hindi ko maalala. But they have done this before. So I think T1 could make it to the finals. But Damwon Kia talaga. It's Damwon. It has to be Damwon.
But the talking point here is, will T1 use Faker or Closer
Closer.
or kung sino man sa
Ugumayushi or...
roster nila? That's gonna
Yeah.
be the problem for T1 coming into the playoffs. Which roster do they
They
think
use?
after 10 iterations of T1?
I think
It's basically like another team for T1. So
I had this
that's
din
that's a pro and a con in a way kasi
Pro and
you can't really draft against T1.
Yeah.
But the drafts also are bad for T1 from time to time. So dahil hindi nila alam kung ano yung style nila.
Actually, I had a friend, may theory siya on the reason why they had so many iterations of the roster is because tinatago lang ni Zepha siya kanina yung first 5, yung potential ng first 5 which is Kana, Kaz, and Faker, Teddy, and Keria. I think yun yung reason kung bakit ang dami lang iterations. But I think, yeah, I'm not sure. It's still the same. Damwon Kia will still represent MSI without a doubt. We're gonna see that Damwon versus G2. So, yeah. Alright, so...
And yeah, that basically wraps up the major regions.
Yeah.
No, medyo natagalan yung discussions natin
So,
on that. And so, ang predictions in summary is NA is C9, EU is G2, Korea will be Damwon, China would be RNG, and PCS would be PSG.
PSG talent, without a doubt. So, yeah. We have went full circle, by the way. So, nag-full circle na tayo. We're gonna talk about our favorite
The
team.
elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room.
Like
Actually,
you've said in the
ginawa
video
ko na
of
yun.
yours.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, I actually made a video upon that 20-minute video siya. Basically, I summed up everything that's really wrong with Liyab Esports, and I actually want to get some input from Hype, from Paradox as well, kasi hindi ko pa narinig yung full ano niya. But I think it's kind of the same. Pero yeah, 117. Can you believe that? 117. Where have you seen that?
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been 0-18.
Jin Air?
So,
Jin Air? Are we gonna...
Gen Air.
Jin Air? Is this Jin? No.
Yeah, hindi na tayo ngayon, Liyab. It's more of ano ba tawag dito in Filipino? Abo. Abo na lang ang nangyari sa
Abo,
Liyab.
wala nang sunog. As in,
Wala nang apoy.
it's just
There's no fire in Liyab anymore. But yeah, a very disappointing performance for Liyab, as we were not expecting that this would be bad. Especially Liyab lost their mid laner and bot laner, if I'm not mistaken.
hindi. No, it's
Or
top. I think
rather-
top laner. Rex
Top
in the
pala
top.
rather. Si Rex.
I
Rex
think, no,
in
mid laner si
top.
Rex. Kasi last PCS season, top laner si Kanji. Mid laner si Rex. And then, support si Mocha. Not Coco. I keep
I
saying
think
Coco.
si ano pala, so mid and support
Yeah, mid and
rather,
support.
mali pala. So with the loss of Rex and Mocha, they really had
You felt the impact.
they felt the impact of not having that mechanical advantage against on the mid lane. I'm not saying that Kanji is not mechanically good. He
Yeah.
is good,
He is
but
really
compared
good.
to the mid laners that we have in the PCS, it's gonna be a gap. And especially
Very big.
if Kanji is gonna focus on his lane, winning his lane, then medyo may hirapan siya. Especially, there's also gaps in other lanes such as bot lane
Mhm.
with the acquisition of Crescio. I'm not saying that Crescio, well, they have problems in the bot lane, but again, compared to what the other teams have, it's gonna be a gap.
Very big gap.
And that was basically the story of Liyab. It was gap all over the place, or either misplays, or either wrong drafts, or basically just anything from Liyab.
Mm.
So fortunately they won at least one game. That's a good, I guess. Good. That's a good sign that it's
Was it
not
though?
that bad.
Was it?
But it's not that bad. Come on. It's not the ON18, but historically this has been the baddest performance coming in from Mineski, and specifically the Liyab team. I have never seen this much of a fall from grace coming in from a Filipino team.
Mhm. Especially we
Especially
have
as
actually
prestigious as
medyo decent nga yung
Mineski.
standings natin last season. I think we had 6 wins as well.
Mm.
6 wins, 12 losses din ata. I don't remember. But
And basically the problem with that iteration of the roster, it's just I think they really don't know what to play macro wise, but the lane was good.
Mhm.
The rotations from Dodoy was on point.
Mhm.
We were winning a lot of or some of the lanes during last year. But the problem for this year is I think it's a mix of coaching staff issue. It's basically everyone's fault. But if we're gonna point fingers here where Liyab is not gonna improve, even the fans are not really helping
Mhm.
Liyab to improve. But again, it's on the hands of the coaching staff, and it's on the hands of the Liyab players as well. You can't really blame the fans when they're just watching. They can't really do anything, so they're just gonna say that Liyab is bad.
Mhm.
F
Exactly.
you. And
Exactly.
what are we gonna do? We're just gonna do the best that we can,
Mhm.
and not be affected by those who just wants to hate on Liyab and not criticize them constructively.
Mhm.
But there should be a lot of change. There's no doubt on that. We should also hear the criticisms from other analysts, co-streamers, or even shoutcasters, or even viewers themselves. So it's gonna be a hard task for Liyab for the summer season, but I think they have nothing to lose since it's 117.
Yeah.
If they go 1-17 next split, then they basically just did the same thing
thing.
as spring split. Now, if they do a 2-16, then
Maybe.
probably that's an improvement.
Improvement right there.
But again, there's a lot to talk about Liyab.
yeah.
What are your thoughts?
And just like what I said in the video, at this point, it's not even a joke anymore. It's real, and it's gonna go there. Liyab will lose their sponsors, and basically they're just gonna be out of the picture at this point if they continue.
Hopefully
to play
they
like
don't.
this.
Hopefully they don't.
there is room for improvement. I see a lot of room with the potential of Don and Kanji, but you
And
already
even
know.
Crescio.
We're
We
actually
have
gonna
seen Crescio in his mechanical
yeah.
peak,
We're actually
but
gonna go
in
back.
the
No. We're gonna go back to that
University
subject
series.
later on how Liyab acquired Crescio and Spelts because we're gonna watch a video. We're not gonna watch a video. We're just gonna have it on display. It's a Q&A with the quote unquote interim head coach so far since wala si Kabi sa Philippines. Basically, TG is the interim coach. So we're gonna watch some Q&A and we're gonna see, and we're not gonna watch, I'm just gonna dissect some of what he said kasi tinake note ko yun eh. Tinake note ko yun lahat ng sinabi niya. And yeah, we're gonna see how they got Crescio and Spelts.
So yeah, we're gonna play the video ba right now?
Are you okay ka na ba sa topic ng Liyab or do you want to add
I
more?
think yeah, wala naman na wala na tayong masasabi on 117.
If you guys haven't seen it yet, sa video ko, I actually really delve into the I think madami akong wrong points done with the, for example, tinawag kasi Mocha Coco and yeah, and it, yeah, at that point. So,
But
marami
yeah,
din.
basically we're correcting a lot of things that from that
Yeah.
video to this one. We're
And Cabbage
basically
is
gonna
still
be-
the head coach. Sadyang hindi lang siya yung acting head coach due to the fact na wala siya dito sa Philippines. He is
So
still the
before
head
we
coach.
sige.
He is still the head coach, but technically si TG talaga yung current coach since siya yung present. So yeah.
I think, wait lang. I think we should edit that out para kumbaga ang gagawin natin is yung papakita muna natin yung Q&A.
Yeah.
Ni TG.
Yeah, alright.
Tapos,
Sige. Okay, I'll do
dun
that.
tayo mag-tackle sa cabbage video or sa cabbage talking point. Kasi, kapag sinabi natin agad yung cabbage, parang wala silang context on what we are saying. Ganun. So,
Yeah, your point.
ang sabihin mo muna, so we're gonna play the video onto the Q&A of TG.
I think
Tapos doon
hindi
natin
na-
pag-usapan on,
Ay, di ko na lang ipi-play. Kumbaga, i-show ko
Kumbaga,
na lang yung
parang-
mukha niya. Ipapakita ko na lang
Oo.
yung mukha niya. And then, i-dissect. Kukunin ko na lang yung tinake
Hindi,
notes
kasi
ko.
kailangan din kasi sa podcast marinig nila yung sinabi ni TG.
Oh, yeah. Ako, i-edit ko na lang mamaya. I'll find it. I'll
Yeah.
find
So,
those specific.
So, ang sabihin mo ngayon, so we're gonna show the video of TG,
Yeah.
ganun.
So, ayun nga. We're gonna show the...
Three-
Okay, sige.
Wait, sorry.
So,
3,
3,
2, 1, go.
So, yan nga. We're gonna transition now. We're gonna show the videos of TG. We're actually gonna dissect the videos themselves. So, makita natin si TG right here, the coach for Liyab Esports. So, one of the things he said in the Q&A was how he acquired. Unahin natin yan. How he acquired Spelts and Crescio. Very interesting, right? I want you to listen to this, ha? Not only for Paradox, but for every single viewer of magkakaroon tayo kung sakali. Every viewer, every listener right now. It's not the exact words, but it's basically the thought of how he said it. Basically, here's the context. During 2019, meron tayong kasi tinatawag na relegation, so we can see who the representatives of the Philippines are for the PCS. And at that time, they still had Rex and they still had Coco, Mocha on their team. So they had two imports. So they went against GH, which at that time si Spelts, the current top laner for Liyab, was the representatives was the top laner for GH. So here's how he said it. The reason why kinuha niya si Spelts, why he got Spelts, is because na solo kill niya si Kanji or si Rex. I'm not sure if it was Rex or Kanji, but I think it was that. But he said na solo kill niya yung top laner ng Liyab Esports. That is why God damn. Even now thinking it, repeating those words, I am still in shock. Shock na yan. I'm in shock. That's how he why he acquired Spelts. I'm not saying
That's
Spelts.
the basis.
I'm not saying
kumbaga,
Spelts
that's
is a
the
bad
basis.
he is a decent top laner. But the fact is, yung sinabi niya na kasi na solo kill niya. If pinapanood nyo guys yung PPGL noong 2019 na solo kill ni Spelts yung top laner namin. That's what how he said it. So in short, he didn't even want to see the statistics wise. I think he did look at it, but that's such a very parang dahil na solo kill niya si yung top laner ng Liyab, it's like he automatically wants to get, hindi na siya magko-consider ng iba pang potential top laners for Liyab. Parang kinuha niya si Spells kasi na solo kill niya si top laner. And as well as si Crescio, very interesting about si Crescio. Crescio was part of Panic. So at that time, yun yung na-defeat ng Liyab para pumasok sa PCS. So I think yun din yung reason niya. Very. And another thing to point is sinabi niya din, kinuha niya si Celia, Spelts, and si Crescio due to their, and I quote, competitive spirit, end quote. God damn it, what the hell? What the hell? Seryoso to. This is not personal wise. It's the reason why you want to get pro players is because of their statistics wise and their mechanical gameplay. Kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Shinbu that I think I remember Shinbu said this. The reason why Faker was such a good player during his time is because of his gold proficiency. Na-calculate na yun ni Faker on how to use his gold correctly. That's a lot of factors madami pang factors na kailangan mo tignan para kumuha ng pro player. It's not because na solo kill niya yung isang tao. It's more than that. You have to see how he does CS wise, how he does mid game and late game compared to his early game. Champion pool niya, especially yung champion pool. Nobody has even sa comments sa PCS, nobody has pointed out si Crescio sobrang liit ng champion pool niya. As in sobrang liit. You can mabibilang mo lang sa kamay niya yung decente niyang champion. So, kahit sabihin mo siyang challenger siya, mabibilang mo yun lang sa kamay kung ilan lang yung champion sa proficient siya. Ito, bibilangin ko na. Wala nga akong mabilang eh. That's how...
Alistar, Thresh, Leona.
Alistar, Thresh, Leona. But again, hindi ko maalala ko ano ginamit niya nung nanalo sila eh. What was it? I don't know, Jamna maybe. I don't know. But the fact is, yung champion...
Yeah, Janna.
Oh, wait lang.
I think that was Janna. Wait, let me check. Sige. Go forward. But yeah, I think the talking or what we're gonna talk about here is how TG scouts their players.
Yeah.
Dun sa sinabi niyang, I think yung na solo kill, yung katulad niyan sinabi niya dun sa Q&A. Kung yun talaga yung basehan niya on acquiring top laners, I think that's a valid reason when proven na magaling talaga siya on the basics of top lane management, when to TP, not to TP, item builds. Not saying na hindi magaling si Spelts doon sa top lane, or parang kaya lang nakuha si Spelts kasi magaling lang siya mechanically pero hindi naman siya magaling macro wise. But that's the job of the coaching staff to do,
and the scout
to teach macro. Yeah. And yun nga, okay, sabihin na nga natin magaling siya mechanics wise, may potential kasi mechanics minsan cannot be taught, and minsan gifted ka. And for example, Chovy or Faker, ganun ka ka-gifted, but you don't have the big brain of, let's say, LS or any analysts there na hindi masyadong nabigyan ng mechanics wise, pero although some of the mechanics pwede mo maturo, such as lane management, wave management, trading. Again, mechanics usually is skill based.
Nasa player na talaga.
Macro is more on experience based on game knowledge, and game knowledge is much more easier to teach than micro or skill. So, on what I saw from Spelts, he really was good on the lane. But the problem was, hindi niya alam how to convert that to wins
Mhm.
for their team. Which is, that's the job of the coaching staff. I'm not saying na, coaching staff, ganyan-ganyan. But let's be real here. Yun talaga yung naging problema, which is, that's the job of TG.
Yeah.
And coming back from the point again na katulad din dun sa video sa Q&A, Cabbage is not here in the Philippines. Wala siya sa Pilipinas. So technically that makes TG the automatic coach or interim coach for Liyab. But katulad nga ng sinasabi natin, meron namang Zoom, meron namang Discord, or meron namang messenger call. Pwedeng, there's just, bubabalik tayo dun sa sinabi natin uli kay Kome. The difference between having a coach that is good and having a mediocre coach is miles.
Yeah.
They can
Wait.
help you with draft. They can help you with basically any personal reasons na halimbawa, katulad ni Yamato Canon, halimbawa, you're feeling down mentally. He can boost you up. But sa nakikita ko kasi parang TG is not that coach, or not either one of those coaches, yung drafter or even katulad ni Yamato Canon na parang boosts up the morale of the team. He's much more stuck into the shot caller times niya no nasa Mineski siya. With Exosen, with Kaigu. Yun yung nakikita ko. And that's totally fine. But the problem here is nobody's accepting the responsibility. And with a team full of rookies, what's gonna happen? A train wreck is gonna happen. That's why
I believe
I think the problem is here is the coaching staff. Yun nga.
I believe if si Cabbage nandito, I'm not saying, I'm still thinking it through if what would happen if nandito si Cabbage. Because, ito guys if you guys watch the awards, yung docu-series ng Liyab about
From last
year, if you compare
this year.
it to this year, yung style of coaching ni TG is very, as in, you can see the difference talaga. Makikita mo yung difference ng style ng coaching ni TG and yung style ng coaching ni Cabbage. Okay?
Cabbage.
Here's this is the TLDR if you don't want to watch it. Si Cabbage actually pinapanood niya yung game live, which ginagawa din ni TG, but the fact is nagte-take down siya notes. What is happening? How did the other team get to this? What were the mistakes? Yung ganun. And he discusses it with the players. Makikita mo, tinatawag niya isa-isa instead of like silang lahat isang usapan. Tinatawag niya isa-isa in one-on-one niya, and then eventually all na. If you compare to TG, just watch the parang pinapanood niya pero parang he doesn't take seriously. Parang hindi siya nagte-take notes, parang nagko-comment lang siya, parang tinuturo niya yung finger niya sa screen. And like, look what he doing. He do that. Wow. Parang ganun yung sinasabi. But I'm not saying it's like that, but the fact,
I think meron ding isang situation doon na sorry to cut in.
Sige.
Parang merong point doon na CTG I think was playing the replay of that fight. Parang ang sinasabi niya, Crescio, ba't ginawa mo to? Di ba napag-usapan na natin yan?
yeah.
But yun yung difference eh.
Yeah.
When a coach is teaching a player, he should parang make sure na matututunan niya.
Just parang
and do it.
Teachers, parang
But
coach is
parang teachers yun nga,
being a
teachers.
coach is literally being a teacher.
And pointing out na parang you're the problem, ganyan. For our rookie, is not that gonna be, although yun nga, kailangan talaga ng criticism. You should also give criticism, hindi lang sasabihin na, napag-usapan na natin to bakit ganyan yung nangyari. Like,
exactly.
Parang, all I can see with TG is he's the shadow of his former self
During his
nung
minutes.
player siya. I have no problem with him sharing his experiences nung player siya, nung yung ginagawa nila nung panahon ni Exosen. And they were good. TG was so good. Probably one of the top 3 supports in the Philippines nung panahon niya. But
That time.
Katulad nga nung discussion ngayon sa LoL Esports, a lot of players can't be coaches. A lot of coaches can't
And
be
be
players.
Exactly.
For example, Bjergsen is becoming a good coach, although hindi siya ganun kagaling na drafter, hindi siya ganun kagaling na coach pa sa ngayon. There is improvements. But the problem with TG kasi parang he's comparing what they did good nung panahon nila and what sa happening with the team right now. When League is a different game from what they were playing years before. 'Di ba? Siguro let's say on macro wise or synergy wise, doon siguro siya makakatulong. But even yung mga new strategies wala akong nakita sa Liyab. It's the same draft over and over again for the first 3 games, I think, especially with the very disappointing Udyr coming in from Doydoy. So I accept the fact na tinry nilang gawin yon and it backfired. It definitely backfired. It set them back. But that's the decision of the coach when and when not to do a strategy, when and when not to force a style. And fortunately hindi pa nahanap ng Liyab yun. And ni TG.
And evident talaga yung sinabi mo is if you watch, again, let's go back to Ward Season 3. It's where TG is the interim coach instead of Cabbage. May isang instance doon because in 11.2, the best champion was Seraphine. Until now, Seraphine is still the best champion currently. First of all, they were not ready for Seraphine. And second, they didn't practice Seraphine. Although the fact that Seraphine is the best champion on that patch. So, yeah, you can see na hindi nila, parang, yun nga, yung sinabi mo kanina is, shit, I'm getting lost. Yung sinabi mo kanina, though, god damn, nawala ako bigla eh. Pero yeah, that's a main point. CTG as a coach is very different from being being Cabbage. Kumbaga, hindi siya teacher.
He's probably not the coach that Liyab needs right now.
Yeah,
pero
Liyab.
TG is still vital for having the parang Liyab spirit still going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's not really translating into wins.
Yeah.
Probably in my opinion it's gonna be backfiring on Liyab na panang mas marami. And yun nga, unfortunately din wala si Cabbage. But I think naman nagko-coach pa rin si Cabbage although remotely. But there's a difference kasi talaga
kung nandun
kapag
ka.
nakikita mo yung scrims, nararamdaman mo na kung ano talaga yung problema compared. Kumbaga parang sinabi mo yung Gilas. Yung coach nasa Amerika. Tapos hindi niya nakikita niya yung laro from behind the scenes, even naririnig niya yung yung comms. Pero hindi niya nakikita yung actual body language ng players. Kasi ganun sa teaching eh. Hindi lang naman siya, or coaching, hindi lang naman siya more on paper eh. Kasi kung paper lang, edi kahit siguro yung bronze player, pakitaan mo lang ng statistics. O yan.
Yeah.
You really have to go through them paulit-ulit like a teacher or like a father or parang parent na, eto, ganyan. And eventually, they're gonna learn and they're gonna apply it on the game. But, yun nga,
and another fact, yun nga, like I said, the coaches need to be parang the father, sila yung teacher, kumbaga. And if, again, I'm going back again to Wards because that is the sole purpose of the docu-series is to see what happens behind the scenes, no? You can already see that the players of Liyab Esports, I'm not saying I think, this is my opinion at this point. They do not respect TG at all. Makikita mo parang tinitreat nila as equal. Makikita mo din sa Q&A, there was one time na that's the main point. Parang hindi nila tinitreat si TG seriously at all. Compare mo siya sa season 2 ng Wards, which is si Cabbage pa. They were like, parang nakikinig talaga sila kay Ward, kay Cabbage talaga. During, hindi siya, during the games dapat in, regular season ng PCS, nire-respect nila si Cabbage but si TG parang hindi masyado. That's what I want to say. So, dun mo na makikita yung difference ng coaching style ni TG sa coaching style ni Cabbage, which is very, very different talaga. So,
And
sure.
yeah, that is what separates the good coaches from the coach.
I'm not,
Na
okay si TG
mediocre
as assistant coach, but
lang. That I can agree.
maganda
I
siya.
think yun. I think si Chisto is not gonna be that good of a coach in terms of assistant kasi hindi siya ganung makakatulong kay Cabbage on the PC part. That's why he is on Wild Rift
Yeah.
to give the statistic. Kasi magkaibang laro yung Wild Rift.
Tsaka PC.
Kasi
Very different.
you can argue na sige si Chisto isama nyo na lang as head coach since wala si Cabbage. Probably ganun nangyayari, but it's much more better for Chisto to focus on Wild Rift than being the head coach or temporary head coach of Liyab. And yun nga, katulad nga ng sinasabi ni Double, if Spring would probably not matter. But again, kumbaga, yun nga yun yung what separates coaches from parang players Kasi Coma, again, punta ulit tayo sa comparison with Coma. He was a player back then. Hindi siya ganong kagaling na player. He was decent but he was not that good. Pero when you look into the behind the scenes of SKT, yung parang words nila in the locker room. Naalala ko yung one finals na nandun si I think kahit din yung yung Ice on Worlds. Behind the scenes ng World Season 6. Doon mo makikita yung pagiging coach. Yung paano maging tamang coach. When you feel like the player is being down or being out mechanic or parang natatalo in terms of mechanics.
You do not shun him, kumbaga. You
do not shun him. Hindi mo siguro sasabihan mo na okay, ayusin natin. Katulad ng ginagawa ni Coma doon na parang he's asserting his responsibility and at the same time binibigyan niya din ng parang sort of responsibility yung player na I'm gonna do my job, you're gonna do your job as well. Now, no personals, yun yung term ng mga kaibigan ko doon. Wag nating personalin. Let's reset. It's fine. But please, parang ganito, ganyan. Doon nagkakaroon ng respect yung player to the coach Pero kung nakikita mo lang na parang, hahayaan ako nitong gawin to, it's gonna happen over and over again. And walang learning na mangyayari. Kasi walang responsibility and walang nag-lead for the team.
Yeah. So,
that's basically, I think, the problem of Liyab.
So,
it's not that they're not good. They don't have a vision to look at or a leader to look for. Yeah. Parang ganun. And they're forcing Dodoy and TG to do the leader part, which is nagkakaroon din ng pressure si Dodoy.
Yeah.
Kaya siya nag-underperform this split.
Yeah. So, I think yun lang yung nasa Q so far. Kasi yun yung first Q&A. He actually had another Q&A this week.
Q&A.
Pero hindi ko siya napanood fully.
Hindi ko rin napanood fully but he was co-streaming LPL. So, probably doon natin malalaman yung the picks and bans. Probably
next week maano natin. If mag-co-stream siya ulit, pwede natin criticize.
Hopefully talaga, we are, I think in the bottom of everyone's hearts from the Philippines, we are hoping that Liyab will find their footing even kahit hindi na sila ganun mag-qualify into playoffs. Basta makita mo lang na promising, especially all Filipino team pa This is the first time, in my opinion, since a few years nung panahon ng Mineski that they are having a full Filipino team na walang import. Kasi naalala mo, from Mineski dati sila Gary, sila mga Korean imports. Yeah. They were being bashed dati. Ako, deep myself, Mineski fan ako dati. They were being bashed na kaya lang ba kayo nadadalo kasi meron kayo import But that's the point of having a team. Getting the best yung ma-acquire mo na roster. And you can't blame Mineski for that. Pero sa ngayon, they got the work what they have right now. Especially it's panahon uli ng COVID. Not a lot of esports teams are generating that much profit. That's why probably wala silang budget ngayon for um an import, and of
Yeah.
course yun pa nga, visa issues ba yung flights. It's fine. It's fine to support. It's fine to have if all Filipino team, but they really have to step up.
Yeah.
Kasi it might be too late not only for them but also the Philippine LOL PH scene as a whole. Kasi a lot of people, not only Liyab, pero people such as me or such as Xenogre or even a lot of esports personalities, medyo na parang nalulungkot na ganito na ba nangyayari sa LOL PH scene dahil nga may COVID, tapos walang makapaglaro sa online computer shop, so walang tournaments. And seeing Liyab getting dumpstered by previous teams na dinadumpster din natin pabalik dati. It's very weird to see, and hopefully talaga we are hoping that Liyab will bounce back from that, especially that SEA Games is already coming up.
So, I think it's now time to transition after that grueling dissection. Kasi, hindi naman natin makakover yung buong Q&A ni TG. It's 2 hours and I just dissect lang natin yung mga main points niya. Yung paano niya kinuha si Crescio and si Spelts, and as well as si Liyab na din, bilangin na natin siya. Yung si Cabbage, where's Cabbage, and so on and so forth. So, ayun nga, so sa latest Q&A niya, I think he talked about SEA Games pero hindi natin pinanood. So, we're just gonna talk about SEA Games ourselves. So
I think this will be a fast one, no? So
very fast. Yeah.
I'll be the one running down the games, no?
Okay.
So from what I've seen from Kaisaya sa picture na sinend niya or pinost niya, it's gonna be for mobile games. It's gonna be Mobile Legends, PUBG Mobile, and League of Legends Wild Rift.
Wild Rift.
For and as well as Free Fire as well. So for PC, AOV din pala for mobile. So I think PC yung Free Fire. I'm not sure. Basta ito yung games, guys. Mobile Legends, PUBG Mobile, League of Legends, Free Fire, League of Legends Wild Rift, FIFA Online 4, and Crossfire. So, what are your thoughts?
I'm interested sa Crossfire. As a child, as a kid, as a farmer,
as a previous computer shop,
PisoNet boy, as a feature,
PisoNet boy.
PisoNet boy. CF is really close to my heart. It's really, really good. So, I think it's
especially
very fun.
Sa akin din, before I transitioned into League of Legends, before I transitioned into Minecraft, nung bata ako, I've been in love with FPS games ever since the start, such as Counter-Strike and Crossfire, Special Force. So, hopefully, tingin ko naman mayroon tayong challenge on Crossfire. But not really updated on that. So, let's focus on the Wild Rift and League of Legends. So, yun nga, let's focus on the Liyab. So, I think it's not gonna be Liyab. I think it's gonna be a qualification basis. So, let's see kung sino man nanalo doon. Hopefully. Kasi syempre, gusto rin natin makita yung pwede mag-challenge sa Liyab. If ever man na magkaroon ng relegation
actually,
sa summer.
Madaming Filipinos that don't know this. Madaming teams talaga. Yung decenteng teams. I came in contact with multiple teams talaga na sinasabi ko na mag-relegation sila. They should do the relegations, and we've been in talks. There are multiple. Obvious one is GH, WPE, DR Esports. Madami talaga. So, hopefully they have the qualifiers and they'll announce it soon. Hopefully hindi Liyab agad. I want Liyab to have a chance, but I want to have other teams a chance as well to represent the Philippines. And I think so Wild Rift din. Okay, here. Okay.
And yun naman yung next talking point natin.
This one,
Wild Rift.
Kasi diba sinabi ko sa League of Legends PC, ito medyo bias yung pagkasabi ko. I want to have a qualifiers for League of Legends. Pero sa League of Legends PC, pero sa Wild Rift, I think we already have our representatives. Kasi nagkaroon tayo ng
I
South,
think.
nagkaroon na
Nagkaroon
tayo
tayo
ng
ng pre-season icon
pre-season
series.
Southeast Asia Invitational. Okay, I want to emphasize,
Icon
no?
series,
Southeast Asia. So, every single team from Southeast Asia already played there. And next play, the champions of
And
that invitational.
I'm gonna correct you on that one. It's not actually
All?
Southeast Asia. It's just
Philippines.
Philippines Invitational. So that was Team Secret, Smart Omega,
Okay.
RRQ, Sun Sparks, Rebenga's team, which is Bren
Bren
Esports.
Esports.
Uh,
DR, I think
a
DR,
lot of
I think
teams,
DR
actually.
hindi
A
ba
lot of
na-invite
teams.
yung DR? I think they did.
Hindi sila na-invite,
But they won
I
underground,
think-
right?
they won underground,
Oh my
which is
God.
yung tournament. They have won underground, pero hindi ko sure kung sino-sino yung ano.
Okay.
Hindi ako ganun ka-updated sa Wild Rift,
Yeah.
Wild Rift
Wild
scene
Rift.
talaga, as in 100% Wild Rift.
Yeah.
All I know is medyo malalakas yung teams natin, especially Team Secret. Sobrang daming metas na nakikreate.
Mhm.
There was one meta na 2 smite. There was that
They
one
did-
meta na
Hindi ko alam yun. They
lane switch.
did, funnel?
No, 2 smite. So yung ADC will go for a smite, then they will prioritize the dragon.
Okay.
Kasi ganun ka-OP
Oh
yung
my God.
macro sa League of Legends Wild Rift.
I retract
Na-
my statement. Dapat may qualifiers na sa Wild Rift. I didn't know. Hindi ko pa napanood yun. Holy oh my God.
So,
that's cool.
There was a lot of metas na nangyayari sa, kumbaga, if you want to have a parang nostalgic
Oh
effect
my God.
uli ng season 1 to 10 of League of Legends, go for Wild Rift. Kasi on one season alone, on 1 or 2 tournaments from underground and icon series, napakaraming nangyaring meta, napakaraming strategies na ginawa. And to mention, ang dami ring nangyaring micro outplays and basically upsets as well na nangyari. And you can see, actually, makikita mo rin doon yung mga previews. League of Legends players from PC
Mhm.
going for greener pastures in Wild Rift, such as Kaigu, Exosen, Rebenga, Rox, so JLC even.
Very
So if you
recognizable
very
names.
recognizable names. So kung gusto mo ma-reminisce uli yung PGS moments, you're gonna go to Wild Rift.
Mm.
And unfortunately, yun nga, hindi ako ganun ka-updated kasi mas updated ako ngayon sa
PC.
LoL Esports, especially sa PC, on international happenings as well. Pero grabe, sobrang promising ng Wild Rift. I'm not saying na pwede tayong manalo agad sa SEA Games,
Yep.
especially Vietnam kalaban natin.
Yeah.
Knowing that, again, balik nga tayo dun sa League PC. Alam naman nating Vietnam ang magiging number 1 or power rankings number 1 natin since nandun sila Levi, Optimus,
Basically,
and even the
Gigabyte.
likes of, dun manggagaling din yung the likes of players, the likes of Style of Me, SOFM from Suning.
Mm.
So, it's gonna be an uphill battle. Dati, nakikipaglaban tayo with Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia on the Garena Premier League, GPL.
Yeah, GPL.
But I think this is gonna be a different story on, yun kasi yung historical background dun eh. So, let's see. Probably Wild Rift we're gonna win kasi nga, Mobile Legends, medyo M2 World Champions tayo, no? So,
Yep.
shoutouts dyan sa mga tropa natin sa Mobile Legends, no?
Grabe kayo.
So, in terms of mobile, medyo baka may palag tayo. Pero, PC, it's gonna be an uphill battle.
Alright.
Yun.
So,
So, that's the summarization for League of Legends Wild Rift. League of
wala
Legends.
naman akong masyadong masabi sa Free Fire and PUBG Mobile. I really don't play those games that much. AOV, I think Philippines has a chance. Because I think
I think merong nangyari sa Liyab, AOV, which is one of the number 1 dominating teams in League of, or rather
AOV,
AOV,
yeah, I think Liyab
or
actually.
AOV scene. Ang nangyari ata, nag-resign or nag-retire
Oh,
na yung
really?
coach nila.
Wait, I think si Kai,
So-
di ba si Kai Saya, ano siya dati?
Hindi.
AOV?
Ano siya eh. Nag-ano na siya ngayon for One Snap
So
Esports.
si Kai Saya mismo,
So,
kung sino
I-
nag-post na picture na to.
Si Kai Saya, I think naglalaro siya ngayon with the
For what?
women's division of
Okay.
One Snap Esports, which we are going to talk about later as well. Meron ding a new format for SEA Games. But yeah, I think AOV, Liab, probably our representatives na dahil yun lang naman yung alam kong team
Yeah.
sa AOV. And hopefully they settle the balita na they have some roster changes na sobrang vital for their dominance in the Philippine AOV scene. And ano pa ba yung mga games?
The last one na hindi natin pinag-usapan is FIFA Online. Okay, this is okay.
That's actually
This is an advantage.
nalaro ko yung FIFA Online noon 2 pa. Ganun nakatagal. I think I was grade 7 noon. So that was I think 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not really sure who plays that here in the Philippines,
I think
pero let's see.
Pero this is Vietnam is gonna win this, no doubt. Sila na lang,
Vietnam, kasi-
alam ko sila na lang yung ano talaga dito sa FIFA Online 4. Sila yung pinaka-active, I believe, for FIFA Online.
And basically yung mga yung mga sinakop ng, well, I don't want to go there, pero yung merong European influence. European influence.
Kasi tayo
So,
basketball
medyo
tayo because you
Askal siguro on that
yeah.
one. But let's see, malay mo meron palang napakagaling. Pero this was alam mo kung ano to? Response to from Vietnam
from last
sa NBA 2K last year sa SEA Games. Nanalo tayong ng NBA 2K eh.
yeah.
Without no sweat. No sweat.
problem. Just easy win.
Kahit din yung Asia Pacific, without no sweat, nanalo tayo sa NBA 2K. So this was probably a response for that. So easy gold medals since sila nga yung
representative.
yung
But,
hosts.
We don't know. Maybe balay mo.
But yeah,
Na-sponsor
let's see.
sila ng...
Malay mo, may upset.
Actually,
Malay mo, Singapore pala pinakamalakas.
if
diba?
if you notice mo, 1, 2, 3, 4 games. 4 games ng Vietnam is actually from Garena, I think. Including PUBG. I think PUBG Mobile nag-handle din Garena.
PUBG Mobile is also Garena. So most of them are Garena.
Garena. So, yeah.
Except for Wild Rift
Except for
and Crossfire.
No, Crossfire lang yan.
And Mobile Legends Bang.
So,
and yeah, I think given na yung Mobile Legends Bang, we might
Matik na.
be on the top 3. So may medal
I mean,
na tayo dyan.
we currently are the defending champions. Tapos, all Filipino team pa tayo. So,
And
that's
shout out
case
sa
in
Bren
point.
Esports.
Bren
Bren
Esports.
lang malakas.
Oh my God. Bren malakas talaga.
Bren lang malakas.
So, I think,
indeed. And last topic na pag-uusapan natin is...
I think hindi tayo
There will be-
magda-dive in kay Gwen, sa new champion, si Gwen, because wala pa tayong much information, but ano yung thoughts mo so far kay Gwen?
I think, meron pa ako sasabihin.
Sige. Go ahead.
And the last thing that we're gonna be talking about SEA Games is magkakaroon ng women's division and men's division. So, magkakaroon ng, I guess, 6 medals for Wild Rift, 6 medals for League of Legends, and of course, sa mga ibang games. I think ang meron lang ata, wait, let me check on the .esport or esports.com or .esports na article. Ang gonna be gender specific ay Wild Rift. Yeah, I think
Wild Rift lang.
Wild Rift lang yung merong
Women.
gender specific. So, may men's and women's division. So, ang thoughts ko dyan is, that's a very good step for the esports scene, I guess. Kasi, there's a stereotype in the esports industry na women are not that good in professional play, ganyan. They're not that good when it comes to facing men and ganyan. I think it is a good program for the SEA Games organization or yung mga nag-organize ng event. But yeah, wait lang, ulitin ko nga. I think that's a good program. I think that's a good program for SEA Games, since yun nga, may stereotype sa women na they're not good. And historically, although historically it has been proven na some of the teams na women, especially for League of Legends, yung
LCL.
on ano lang. I'm not saying that all women are bad.
Yeah.
Hindi ganun.
You're not.
Pero from what happened on the LCL team, which is again, that team is not much more of siguro kung yun sino yung mga pinakamagagaling na babae. I think that was much more of a marketing strategy than than actually performing or challenging the players or the other teams eh. That's why I think that team didn't really do well kasi they're not focused on winning the game. They're focused on marketing the team.
Yeah. All female.
Which
all
is
female.
yun yung Vivictus Esports from LCL or the Russian League of Legends League. And yun yung medyo nakakasama sa mga people who are really passionate about women in esports, especially alam naman natin na magagaling din yung women in esports, especially sa halimbawa let's say Hearthstone. Sa mga individual games, and especially CS:GO. I'm a fan of female CS:GO, especially Team Dignitas, sila Artstar. Yun yung mga I'm really a fan of female esports, and it's proud to see na magkakaroon na ng stage for them to shine or to even show their talent, na pwede rin nilang masabi na pwede kami makipagsabayan sa male.
And hopefully
And
then
eventually teams might consider that
taking women into
in
their
the
own
future.
teams. Yeah. Kasi I believe this is it's not bad, no, na I think maraming titignan na medyo parang sineparate yung male tsaka yung female. Parang na-separate siya due to the stereotype. But I think this is very good because I think this can be a stepping ground. For example, for Wild Rift women's team, there will be the diba? Syempre, magkakaroon talaga tayo champions. I believe that will be the stepping point in the evolution of esports. Malay mo, next SEA Games or maybe the Olympic Games, we're gonna have a esports team na madaming babae, may mga babae. Hopefully, and not only in the Olympics, the SEA Games, but hopefully sa PCS din, LCK, LPL,
and even Worlds. We're gonna have a first female.
So this is a stepping
world
ground
finalist
talaga.
or even world champion.
Madaming magaling na mga players na female, and I think they just don't have they don't have the opportunity na ipakita yung skills nila on the stage. Pero hopefully dahil dito sa opportunity na binigay ng SEA Games, I think hopefully they can shed some light, no, for their
And all
talent.
in all, that is what esports is about, diba? It's all about inclusivity. Minsan hindi natin alam kung sino nakakalaro natin on the other side of the screen.
Exactly.
Minsan we don't know, probably mas matanda sa atin, mas bata, regardless of gender, regardless of kung ano yung kaya mong gawin, or let's say even if you have only one arm, may makikita ka mga League of Legends player na nakakapaglaro ng league even with
and
one
are
arm.
actually decent
So,
kahit one arm lang.
Oo, 'di ba? So it shows that esports is for everyone.
It's not just
Unlike, hindi naman sinasabi namin pangit yung ibang sports, kailangan mo maging matangkad. But that is what esports is all about. Is being great at playing games even though who you are or what you are. And at the end of the day, esports is what, kung ano yung pinakamagaling at that moment, at that era. And hopefully, we might see a first move or probably change into the esports industry na they would consider mixed
teams.
Yun yung kailangan natin gender diversity onto esports, which is yun nga is male dominant talaga in terms of statistics, but hopefully that will change, and hopefully mas marami pang opportunities, hindi lang yung SEA Games, and hopefully mas marami yun nga opportunities for female players and female esports industry members ng esports industry, such as yung casters. And hopefully yun nga yung mangyari, change.
So that wraps up the SEA Games, no? I'm excited.
Speaking of women.
Yan. Excited
And-
ako kanina kasi nag-simp ako bigla. Gwen! The new champ, Gwen, is gonna come out next patch. The third patch? After MSI siguro. Or during MSI, i-release siya. So far, kasi gameplay reveal pa lang, and I already talked about that on my channel as well, 5 minutes lang. We don't have much information on paano yung ratios niya, whether AP siya or physical damage, or support siya or jungle siya. We have no real
Kumbaga wala pang nire-release si
Nire-release
Riot
talaga.
na yung actual stats, actual yung what is the first skill, second skill, ultimate.
If she's gonna
Although
build
nakita
cruiser.
na natin yung mga abilities niya, we are really not sure kung alin doon, but I guess we can guess.
Yeah,
Kung
okay,
ano yung
sige,
iba
let's
dun.
guess. Okay, I'm gonna guess that si Gwen is gonna go top lane and builds Bruiser parehas kay Camille or parehas kay Riven.
Yeah, especially nakita natin doon puro top lane yung
Yeah,
highlights yun,
Maokai,
Maokai,
Riven,
Hecarim,
Hecarim.
getting ganked by Hecarim. Tapos parang
And yung first footage
team fighting
yung first
with,
footage actually happened at top lane, yung nakipag 1v1 siya
yun.
sa kay Riven.
And usually ganun naman talaga nangyayari. For example, yung kay Samira, una
Yeah.
nilang pinakita is bot lane. So
Yeah. I'm not sure.
um
I'm excited.
what are my thoughts on Gwen? I'm excited on the champ itself, the lore
Mhm.
on how it was made, but there was some discussion on to bakit kamukha siya ng parang anime waifu instead of an actual creepy doll.
Yeah. I mean, I have no
I
problem
guess-
with that. But yeah.
Yun nga, some of the people are having problems with it, but in a way, siguro mas magiging accurate sana kung naging doll talaga si Gwen for like yung ginawa ni Isolde. Pero parang kumbaga parang nawawala na kasi yung parang Amumu style na champions or Annie or yung fantasy na meron yung league. Parang madalas natin makita yung human-like figures such as
Yeah.
Samira,
Wala
Viego.
na tayong
Or
Yordles.
parang nawawala na yung mga Yordles or even Hecarim or
Hecarim.
even Kha'Zix.
Siguro
Yun yung namimiss ng mga tao. And siguro yung susunod na champion, kasi Yordle yung susunod. So,
actually,
hopefully,
yung closest thing na nakuha natin is si Lilia lang. Pero human pa din siya. Kung
Lilia.
tuusin, Kasi yung figure.
human-like form, parang ganun.
Pero,
Technically, parang half human, half pero hindi katulad nila Amumu na bandage, buong bandage.
yeah.
Or Hecarim na kabayo talaga.
Yeah.
But, I honestly have no problem with it. Because it's just a champion, it's just a character. If you really don't like the character, then don't
Play it. Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen this much of a deep lore compared to Jin.
Mhm.
Kumbaga,
Jin's
the
lore
last
was the
time
best. Yeah.
the last time that I had a very good lore bukod kay of course
Na-invest ka talaga.
Viego, but Viego can't be really played in pro play right
Yeah,
now.
sucks.
And even minsan ang dami niyang bugs.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, this is the champ that might probably contest Jin's lore. Pero in my opinion, the most perfect champ na nagawa ng Riot is Jin. Kasi he's been, since season 6 na siya, and he's been on 4 seasons already. And he's been played professionally for 4 years straight and can contest with almost any of the bot lane champs, even Samira. In my opinion, mas maganda pa nga maglaro ng Jin ngayon kaysa Samira. But yeah, that basically shows that Jin is a very good champion, and new champions such as Viego and Samira can, ayun nga, complicated. Nobody can, or beginners can't really play Samira with, or even siguro si Aphelios pwedeng laruin ng pro play, pero walang nakakalarong beginners eh.
Yeah.
And I think Gwen will bring that parang beginner friendly pero pwede pa ring esports
Esport in competitive.
high ceiling, parang ganun. Kasi a comparison probably with Gwen is Aurelia, pero as we've all known, Aurelia is a very high mechanical champion. Although pwede mong laruin in bronze, much better kung maglalaro ka na lang na Malphite instead of Aurelia missing E's or missing ultimates, di ba? So, I think Gwen is gonna be that champion that suits top lane for beginners or yung mga hindi masyado marunong mag-top like me.
Yeah.
So
We might be diving. Yeah.
we need that the champion, but we are gonna be diving on that once we get a lot of info.
Information. Probably in the next episode, we're gonna talk about her. So, I think
Yeah,
that
basically
wraps up the
everything up.
podcast. No? So first episode, really nice. First episode, we're about to be done. Yeah.
Yeah, we dug a lot. We talked a lot about yung MSI, but I think that's gonna be the talking point in the near future,
Mhm.
especially playoffs is about to start for a lot of regions.
Yep.
And hopefully magiging magandang MSI since gagawin yun sa Iceland.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
a lot
Lord.
of esports titles have done a tournament on Iceland,
Iceland,
dahil
yeah.
nga
I haven't heard that.
medyo mahirap in terms of
In general, mahirap
dito.
talaga sa Iceland.
Oo, mahirap puntahan.
Yeah.
And meron pa ngang issues na nangyayari ngayon sa Iceland dahil parang nagkakaroon daw ng volcanic eruptions
Yeah.
under the island itself.
So, it's gonna be fun.
Hopefully matutunan na ng mga players how to freeze sa Iceland.
Yeah. So,
But
freeze the
again,
lane. Learn how to
literally freeze the lane. But
So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to Iceland, and of course I'm looking forward to the next episode of
yeah.
Surrender at 15.
So, we're gonna still see kung ano mga developments this week. We're gonna, of course, cover it on the next episode. And, yeah. I think that wraps up everything. So, thank you, guys, listeners. If you wanna go to Paradox's,
viewers, yeah.
check out Paradox's Facebook page. I think ilalagay ko lang naman yun sa mismong video. But,
yeah, pwede nyo naman i-check yung yung Twitter ko. It's just Paradox
just
lol.
Hype Paradox.
Without
Just search
the-
Hype Paradox on Facebook. The first thing
Oh,
you'll see.
Facebook. Makikita nyo na
That's
yon
it.
YouTube, Hypercarry Paradox and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry for the plug, pero
Yeah, it's fine. So, yeah, he's gonna be my
But,
co-host
yeah.
from now on. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Wow.
Okay. So, that wraps up the first episode of Super Surrender. I don't even know the
Surrender.
Surrender at 15.
Surrender at 15.
I don't even know the name of the program, but
Actually, first time ko lang din talaga mag-podcast. So, hopefully, mas magiging maganda yung episode 2. It's
hopefully,
gonna be much more smoother, much more concise
yeah.
than this
So,
one.
pilot
And
episode
hopefully-
talaga na.
Oo, pilot episode pa lang
Yung
to.
episode. So,
And,
hopefully we can
yeah,
get
hopefully you guys
guests as
enjoyed.
well, no? In the near
Mm.
future. Not agad, hindi naman agad, but near future, hopefully we can get guests. And yeah, that I guess wraps it up for the podcast, very first episode of Surrender at 15. So thank you guys for listening. And we hope to have your ears listen
See you
to
in
us.
the
And
next
see you in
one.
the next one. So yeah, goodbye, good night. Thank you for listening, buddy. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Sakto.